Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we are going to start a basic to advanced playlist in Python. So as today's video is going to be the first video of this playlist, we are going to learn how to print something in Python. Whenever we want to write any code in Python, we have to create a file, right? So in Python, whenever we want to create a file, but before proceeding that, let me clarify something for you. You can obviously use any cloud tool for running your Python code. For example, Replit and GitHub has also built-in cloud code spaces, but I would like to use local machine to show you actually how it does. All right. And if you want to run Python or Python code in your local machine like me, you have to install Python in your system. And if you are wondering how you can install that, I already have created a video earlier by following which you can install Python on your system. And I would make sure to link those in this video's description box. So make sure to check that out. All right. So whenever we want to write any code in Python, we can use any normal text editor like Notepad, Notepad++, Sublime Text. We can also use IDE like PyCharm and many more. We are going to use IDEs later, but as beginner, we are going to use the fresh Visual Studio Code. But if you want to use another IDE or text editor from earlier, you can obviously do that too. Now you see that I have opened a folder named Python in this Visual Studio Code, but you can open any folder you want, and to make sure that you have installed Python extension in Visual Studio Code. For example, click here and search for Python and install the first one, which has the highest number in the download rate. For example, this is currently downloaded for more than 99.5 million times. By the time you are watching this video, it might get higher, but that doesn't matter. You can simply install it. And it's coming from Microsoft.com. Make sure to see that too. You can obviously use Python extension pack and Python environment manager and so on, but we are not going to use that right now. All right, and let's come to our Explorer. If we are going to write code for Python, we have to create file, right? You can simply click here to create a new file, or you can simply right click here and click a new file. Now the file name would be kind of like this, main.py. And let me clarify something for you. You can keep spaces in the file name. For example, this is working, and if I want to use this, my python file.py, this is also working, but this is not recommended. So the recommended file name is, you shouldn't keep any spaces between file name. If you have multiple words in a file name, you can use underscore, or you can use camel case like this. This is not a camel case, but yeah, we can use this, my python file.py or my python underscore file.py. And Python file naming is a case sensitive thing. So therefore you see that although I am using the same words in three files, my Python file, my Python file, my Python file, in one file I have added spaces between the file name, between the words. In one file name I have added underscores, and in one file name I haven't added anything, underscore or spaces, but I have added these. These three are indicating three different file names. So you see how it goes, right? I can simply delete those here. All right. For this one, we are going to use main.py. And obviously, you shouldn't worry about the source code at all, because I have created a dedicated repository for hosting all of these codes. And I would make sure to link that repository in this video's description. So I would also request you to start that repository as well. All right. So whenever we want to print something in Python, what we can do, we can use the general print statement. The print statement helps to print something in the console. All right. And we need to use a brace, or you can say bracket. And here, whatever we want to print, we have to enclose that in single quote or double quote. For example, for now I am using a single quote, and make sure if you are using a single quote at the starting, you have to use that single quote at the ending as well. All right, so for example, hello world, and if I want to run it using terminal, I can open a terminal, and you see I have this main.py file here, and if I want to run it, I can simply use Python and the file name with the extension. If you are using Linux or Mac, you should have used Python 3 main.py like this. All right, you see it's printing hello world. I have used single quote here, but what if I use double quote here? I can obviously do that, hello world, and you see it's working. And you can't mix the two type of quotation here. For example, you can't use like this. For example, I am starting with single quote, but I am ending with double quote like this. You can't use this. You are already getting an error, and it's telling you that string literal is unterminated. Pylons is telling you. So you can't mix two type of quotation. Or you can also can't use like this. You start with double quote, but you end with single quote. You can't do that either. So make sure that you are using the same quotation at the starting and at the ending. All right, now obviously, as you can see, we can use single quote and double quote both, but which thing you should use, it also depends on various scenarios, and don't worry about that, we are going to talk about that later. So as this is the first video, here we have understood how we can create a file in Python and we can print something in the terminal. All right, and if you are using Visual Studio Code, I would also recommend you to install this extension Code Runner. All right, and then go to settings, simply click here manage and go to settings and simply search for run code in terminal, and make sure that you have checked this box. Whenever you do, you would get this run button here, and from here you can directly run your Python code in the Visual Studio Code. You don't necessarily need to type the command in the terminal every time, but this is a good practice and you should know how it works, so I showed you how it works. All right, so this is it for today. If you are new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You can follow me in GitHub, GitLab, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'll provide all of the link in this video's description box. So see you again. Tata.